The International Relations Minister and the department confirming the death of two South African men who were on the front lines of the Russia-Ukraine war. The department has, however, clarified that the pair are not part of the 17 that were allegedly lured with promises of jobs. It comes a day after 11 men were reunited with their families after landing at Durban's King Shaka International Airport. Let's speak now to the Minister of International Relations, Ronald Lamola. Minister, thank you very much for giving us your time. I'd like to start with the death of two South Africans in the front lines of this war. How did the South African government learn about them?
Yeah, thank you very much, Goli. We have learned through diplomatic channels, as and when we have been dealing with a matter related to the 17. You will be aware that we have been handling the matter of the 17 since for about 3 months or last year. So we deliberately did not want to bring this up to the public because it will have caused a panic to the families of the 17th or to any other South African who were part of this conflict. But we can now confirm that indeed two we have been informed that they have passed on. This is also in the context that it was not only the 17 that were in the conflict. We don't know the exact number, but there were other South Africans. Hence, you will see that some are coming back by drips and draps. It is still a difficult situation for the families, particularly those that they don't know where are their kids. And it is also against this background that we continue to convey a message to South Africans who go outside the country for any form of work to verify with our missions or even the South African government as they go outside for any job opportunities.
Yeah, I know you're saying you're unable to say how many there are that are in this war. Are you able to give us a round figure perhaps, because this is extremely worrying, the recruitment campaign that seems to be on the go?
No, we can't because we don't have it ourselves. But what we know is that since there has been engagements through these platforms, most South Africans have been released from the front line, and including those that passed on have also been their bodies been released or some kind of handover. So it is not easy for us to confirm because some do present themselves to the mission of South Africa in Moscow. But others don't want to present themselves because they still, some of them are fearful of some form of repercussions because they are aware that they were involved in an illegal activity, which is against South African laws.
Yeah.
So that's why it's now a process that we have to verify, check, and ensure that all South Africans coming through from the conflict area or any conflict in the world were not participating in the conflict itself, and the law should take its course.
The two deceased South Africans, are their families aware, and are there efforts to get their bodies home?
As soon as we were informed, we followed our own protocols to communicate the message to the families. But at the time, because there was the issue of the 17 South Africans, we could not communicate this to the public because it will have caused confusion for it to look like they are part of the 17. So that's why even today, when we finally felt that it is the right time to communicate that there is 2 South Africans who passed on, we still stressed and clarified that they are not part of the 17 to avoid any form of confusion.
Yeah. Let's talk about the 17. How did government manage to get them released?
Yeah, it was a difficult process only because they had signed contracts to participate in this process with a private security company. And it becomes complicated because when you engage with the Russian government, is that these are people who have voluntarily participated in a private security process. It's not part of the Russian Defense Force. We engaged with them up until we had to escalate the matter to the 2 heads of states, where our president had to engage with President Putin. And President Putin has been very cooperative, and hence we have we really want to thank the Russian government and President Putin in particular for his immediate action on the matter, because as soon as after the discussion between the 2 heads of states, there was now movement to release the South Africans from the contracts. There was movement to bring them to Moscow, and they supported all our processes to take them out of the Donbas region to Moscow. In the initial stages, it was difficult also because all engagements, although not very clear, but were leading to a fact that these people had signed the contract, but also there was money that was paid for them.
Yeah.
So if you have to, if they have to come back, someone must pay back that money. And as you are aware, South African government does not have a policy to pay for such kind of activities. So we could not pay, nor could we have such a could we make such a commitment. Hence, this matter ended up being resolved through diplomatic channels and through the act of grace from President Putin to enable the private security people, private military to release the South Africans. All South Africans who are in the front line have, according to the information we have, those that have agreed to sign the release agreements have now all been released from the front line. Hence, as that happens, you also discover that there are others beyond this 17. And it is for that reason that it's difficult for us to say this is the number. But as and when it happens, from time to time, there are those that come up and say they were part of this process and they've been released.
Minister, I'm glad you have gone to the element of money. The Wagner Group is who is involved here. And we were told this information by the spokesperson of the families of the 17. The Wagner Group are mercenaries. They are known mercenaries. Who is their link to South Africa, and how much monies were paid over to those people?
Yeah, the details of the amount that has been paid is now a subject of the investigation. As you are aware, the South Africans or the people that are involved, it's also a subject of the investigation. So we will have to await that process of the investigation. But I believe that it is important that at some point, when the police are ready, they will be able to disclose the amounts, and the processes and courts will disclose the amount. I can confirm that indeed there has been money that has been paid for this process.
In the millions?
And for all those people that were involved in the recruitment. I can't confirm the exact amount, Toli, but there was amount that was involved in this thing. in this recruitment scheme. And it's also a public knowledge that those that were involved are in this recruitment were part of the scheme in the MK party.
Okay, now that becomes interesting, because how then do you deal with this through the parliamentary processes? Because the MK party is a party represented in parliament. How do you go about it, or what are the next steps?
Now, obviously, the next steps will also have to be through processes of law enforcement, the police, as they are investigating, the NPA, when they are ready, they will make a decision. But I do not think that there is anything that can stop Parliament to make its own sort of inquiry in this type of a matter, to investigate political parties that are in Parliament who are involved in this scheme.
Two quick questions, Minister, before I let you go. The Wagner Group, as I've explained to you, they are known mercenaries. Their leader died under mysterious circumstances a couple of years back. Are you concerned about them infiltrating this country and able to sign contracts with citizens of this country?
Yeah, as I have said, the part of the circumstances and all that is still the subject of the investigation, and the investigation will reveal the characters in South Africa that were part of this scheme, that worked with the private army that ended up recruiting South Africans. Our message to South Africans is that when there are any job opportunities or any type of recruitments to conflict zones, South Africans must engage with our missions. Even DIRCO, in the DIRCO website is put who to check with, to clarify, so that they can verify information. They don't find themselves lured into these kind of schemes.
Final question to you. Your statement is quite telling, and there's a reason I asked you that question preceding this final one. You say, quote, "Our empathy for the families is matched by our duty to uphold the laws of our republic." There are those who say the Wagner Group are known mercenaries. These people signed contracts with the Wagner Group. Should they be felt sympathy for, given that they knew what they were signing up to?
Yeah, only we as government and the president is a president of all South Africans, irrespective of where they end up. And if South Africans are in distress outside the country or even in South Africa itself, the president does not check whether they are members of the MK party or wherever they come from. We as a government have a duty to serve all South Africans, and it is against that background that we had to act. And the circumstances of their recruitment, it is a subject of investigations, as I've said. Some of them went there knowingly that they are going into the battlefield. But some of them might have gone there unaware. They innocently thought it's a job opportunity to resolve for them to participate in whatever employment as bodyguards and so forth. So for that to be separated is a process of the police. But as a South African government, we have got a duty, even if they were criminals or whatever, we had a duty to bring them back home and for the law to take its course here in South Africa. But as the police are going to be engaging with them, I will not be surprised if some of them, they honestly didn't know. Because when you look at some of their age, some of them are very young, they just saw an opportunity. It's also a possibility. But that should be the subject of the investigation.
Well, you've
and
now...
the law should take its course.
Yeah, you've now led me to one final question. I apologize for this. I'm supposed to end this. The 2 of the 17 who remain in Russia, we know that one of them is severely injured. If you read the Sunday Times story, you saw a picture of him with his legs. He is severely injured. Do we know the status of the other person? Are they also injured? And when will they likely come home?
Yeah, we also don't know when they will be likely to be able to come back home, because the reasons for their non-traveling, for his non-traveling, is because of the doctor's advice that he is not in a condition to be able to travel a long-haul flight from Moscow to South Africa or anywhere that he may connect in such a condition. So it is that reason that he needs to a period of some healing, that he will be in a condition to travel. Maybe in about some weeks, he may be in a position to be able to travel, or they may be able to travel at some point.
And the other person?
Yes, it's the same. When at least their condition are stable, he will also be able to travel, because at this stage it was advised that it's not advisable to travel for such a long haul flight or distance under the conditions that they are in.
Minister Ronald Lamola, thank you very much for your time.